Hi all, welcome back. This is Param. In this list or playlist, we are going to see what are the resources or services we should be familiar to take Associate Cloud Engineer Certification exams. Okay. In this episode, I am going to tell you what are the areas you have to learn, but I am not going to explain what it is exactly. Okay. Only thing is only thing is what are the areas we have to familiar, the list of the topic or content or syllabus kind of stuff. Okay, let us go start with the computing. Okay, if you are going with the computing, okay, you should be familiar with the cloud functions. Okay, in the cloud function, obviously it's even based how to create the functions, okay, how to deploy the functions, okay, what is the role of functions. Okay, then GKE. Yes, another thing is GKE. GKE again at the high level only. It is not like all 100% you have to be familiar. Only 30% knowledge of GKE is enough. That is my understanding. Okay, you have to be familiar with the kubectl, how to use, and what is a control plane, what is a standard mode and autopilot mode. Okay, what is the benefit of each mode, and two edition it's the right enterprise edition and standard edition, autopilot editions. Okay, standard edition. Okay, so you have to be familiar with, and how to use observability tools to understand what is happening inside of GKE. Okay, then another computing is VMs. In the virtual machines, okay, virtual machines respectives, you have to be familiar with the instance template, instance group for auto scaling. It is obviously again load balancer in front of the MIG. Managed instance groups. Okay, should be familiar with the create through web console as well as G Cloud. Okay, most of the areas we have to be familiar with the G Cloud as well, sir. Okay, not full depth out of all the options, but at least here and there you have to be familiar. Okay, then generating or updating the SSH keys, then OOPS agent. Okay, OOPS, when we have to use OOPS agent, what is access quota? Okay, that is also you have to be familiar with, familiar about virtual machines. Okay, these are the primarily three. In fact, Cloud Run also has to be familiar. Okay, Cloud Run, I'm not sure. No, they are not talking about this so far. They have not talked about the Cloud Run, but here and there somewhere App Engine. Okay, these are the areas about the computing areas. Data storage, yes, you should be familiar with the Cloud SQL, BigQuery, and data storage GCP bucket storage, GCS, Google Cloud Storage. Okay, so these three is a primary area to understand, and you have to be familiar with minimum 30% of knowledge or experience of these tools with respect to the data storage. Okay, let me go to the networking. You can see you have to be network VPC, you should be familiar, and couple of VPC object, primary load balancer. Okay, and then VPC peering to connect with one VPC to another VPC, then VPC interconnect, connecting one VPC to on-premise network or any other networks or any other cloud provider, whatever it is, whoever. Okay, so if it is within the from one VPC to another VPC for connectivity, VPC peering is enough. Okay, interconnect or VPN is needed for the outside of the VPC network. Connect with the other internet, connect with the other on-premise network, for example, or other cloud storage. About the storage, then you should be familiar with the Terraform and as well as console. Okay, Terraform as well as console. In fact, editor also you have to be familiar. So, shell script editor, shell command prompt, CLI, you have to be familiar to work with cloud. CI, choosing the right choice. Okay, then you should be familiar to choose which product or service when or for what requirement. So you should be familiar when you have to choose VMs, that means 100% flexibility. GKE, when you want to go, you are going to run more than multiple containers. The Cloud Run is for single container is enough. Cloud function, something has to be executed for events occur within the cloud. Okay, data flow, it is orchestration or data pipeline. load balancing, especially HTTP load balancing, external HTTP load balancing. I would say even external HTTP application load balancer. Okay. Spanner we will go for with globally when we need to go globally, the replicas, sharding and multi-regional, relational, transactional. In that case, obviously we have to go for we will go for spanner. Then BigQuery is kind of analysis, is kind of warehouse. Bigtable it is for kind of unstructured or semi-structured data to be stored. It's huge amount of data. Okay, and you need to know SQL. Then Bigtable is enough. Workflow, again I think it comes 2 times, right? Data flow. Okay, workflow and data flow. Data flow is kind of batch. Okay, batch. Workflow, service orchestration, like that means let's say I'll tell you that first start with this VM. Once the output result came, you go with cloud run, call the cloud run. Once the response received from the cloud run, then save that all the stuff within the cloud bucket. Once it is saved, okay, send the primary some metadata to the Google Cloud Engine, something like that. Okay, here we are orchestrating different Google Cloud services. Okay, that is what workflow. So complete data flow is different. Data manipulation or data processing, each by stage. Workflow in the sense orchestration of other cloud services. Okay, clear. Okay, Cloud SQL. Then Cloud SQL is a regional RDBMS. Cloud is a regional support MySQL, PostgreSQL, and Microsoft SQL Server. Okay. So okay, VPC for networking. So this is how, at least these are the product you should be familiar when you have to use particular requirement. When you have to use particular requirements. Okay. Then data storage, networking, familiar with them. Okay. Then set up Google Cloud Observability. Yes, you should be familiar with scoping or worker project. Scoping or worker project in the sense a cloud project which has to be monitored. Monitoring project, a project which doing actually which receive all the metrics logs, all the variety of telemetry data logs. Okay, and do the analysis, alerting notification, everything happens. It's obvious, like you should be familiar with the alerting, terrace, cloud monitoring, cloud logging, cloud profiling, cloud logging explorer, and metric explorer. In fact, okay, metric explorer. Okay, metric explorer. So these are the observability tools you have to be familiar. So it is not optional. Like either it's be an operation guy or either it's a developer who is working with Elastic Google Cloud. He should be familiar with these observability tools. Okay. Then what else I have put in others? Okay. Yes, you should be familiar with marketplace. It's ready-made. Okay, you should be ready. You should be familiar with what is a API, how to enable them in any Google project. Okay, then billing, what is a payment profile or billing accounts for the project. Okay, and linking project with the billing account, establishing billing budget and alerts. In fact, okay, and setting up billing export, creating one or more. Okay, export bills. Okay, then with respect to IAMs, you should be familiar with what is IAM policy, its association and cloud identity with roles. Then service account roles, custom roles, you should be familiar when you have to go for custom role. Okay, then user roles, user groups, when we have to use what. Then of course resource hierarchy, you should be familiar with the resource manager. What about the folder, project, resource. Okay, and labels, why it has to be used labels for the hierarchy. Then quota. So these are the steps you have to be learned as part of the Google Cloud Engineer certification. Okay, so far I have covered what are the areas has to be familiar. The thing is, the level of knowledge is, I would say, if it is for 30% of knowledge is enough for ACE certification. Maybe for the professional you have to have a completely 100% of knowledge and experience. But for cloud engineer certification, just a 30% knowledge of each services or resources enough. Thank you. Thanks for watching.